everyone! Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lauren's Scrapplot. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now, those of you who follow my channel are probably wondering why on earth you're being notified on a Thursday evening that I have posted a video, because I usually post on Tuesdays at noon with a fun little technique or project with my Show Me How It's Done cards. However, for the next 3 Thursdays, I'm going to be participating in a friendly little stamping competition with 2 fellow Stampin' Up demonstrators named Rhonda Wade and Julie Salva, and I am delighted to share with you that there are links in the description to cards that they have made to participate in this week's competition as well. So we decided to challenge ourselves to create for you a little project featuring this card sketch found in our January to April 2025 mini catalog. So the 3 of us are going to be showcasing a card featuring this layout, and it's up to you guys to watch all 3 videos and to vote on the card that you think embodies this sketch the best or that appeals to you the most. So you can vote simply by pressing the like button, and we always welcome any comments or feedback in our little feeds as well. So please do engage with all 3 of us, and I really encourage you, after you finish this video, of course, to go and check out Rhonda's video and Julie's video, because this series is entitled Julie and Friends, because my dear friend Julie Salva has been involved in these friendly competitions for much longer than I have, and is actually going to be continuing this competition on with other guest stampers in the coming months. So do make sure you support both of those ladies and like and subscribe to their channels. But let's get going. You guys can craft along with me if you'd like, or you can just sit back and relax and watch the card unfold. So here is the card sketch that I was challenged to participate in. I thought, yes, that's great. I have tons of shapes, ovals, circles that I can work with. We've got a little banner across that you can either use maybe some ribbon or put a piece of designer series paper and a little spot for a sentiment. So that's where my brain started. However, as I was designing for some of my upcoming classes, I was reminded of this amazing suite in our catalog. This is called the Storybook Memories Suite, and it is found on page 24 and 25. There are so many adorable little scenes and critters in this, and I wanted to play with them. So our other piece that is quite informal in the challenge this week is to celebrate love. Because of course, Valentine's Day is on Friday. And so if some way you could celebrate love in your card, you got bonus points. And I think I did it in a very non-traditional way. So here's the suite I'm using. And here's the little scene that I thought perfectly embodied love from that paper. See, he's giving a little cabbage to his girlfriend. Now, to build on our sketch, we needed something to go across the middle. Great. That paper pack has tons of little die cuts, one of which is a fence. So that's going to count as my little line across the project. And then there's a little section up here in the left that you need to add either a sentiment to or something, else. So I grabbed another die cut from the paper to finish off the scene. So far, so good. I could easily just mount that onto some Boho blue paper and make an adorable card. However, we're going to go above and beyond because I love fun folds and I can't get enough of them. So instead of making a 1 or 2 dimensional card, we are going to make a 3D pop-out card this week, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this card. Don't worry, it's nothing scary. We're going to have fun. Okay, so we're going to make this little card. Before I commit to this one, though, I have to admit to you, I was creating it and I was debating between all of these little pieces. There's wheelbarrows, there's more animals, there's pots, there's grass, there's flowers. what do I need to finish the card off? So for my sample, you guys need to vote in the comments and tell me whether you think it should be finished off with just some little shrubs, because that kind of finishes our garden scene. Or if you're like me and you have children and really there's no romantic moment while the kids are awake in life, maybe you need to have a little kiddo running around who's just freshly picked a radish, kind of part of your scene as well. So vote in the comments. Tell me whether you think I should be putting this little bunnykin on or these little plants. Either way, I think we're going to be good and I think they're fun. Let's create this one though. So to begin, I will keep this partially in the scene for you, but I'm going to need the space later. We need a card base. This card base is rather scary when you look at it, but don't worry, it's very simple once we get the hang of it. We're going to cut this at 4¼ by 11, and then we need to do a ton of scoring. So please grab a scoreboard or grab your Stampin' trimmer and get ready. We're going to score, here I'll turn it over, that might be slightly easier to see. There we go. We're going to score at 1/2 and 1. Pretty simple, 1/2 and 1. Then we're hopping over and we're doing 5 score lines in here. We're going to start at 4¼ Sorry. Yep, no, 4½. Sorry, 4½, 5, 5½, 6, 6½. We'll go over that one more time. 4½, 5, 5½, 6, 6½. Then you have 2 more lines that we need to add. That is going to go at 10 and 10½. Now we get to have some fun folding this. So you can see here, my card pops out in a very unique way. So the easiest way to start is just to fold your card directly in half. That's going to be at the 5½ inch mark. We've folded in half. That's going to match up these ends for us. If you have a Stampin' Up! Bone folder, I do suggest kind of giving those edges a nice crisp line if you can. And then this center line, we're going to fold the next line backwards. Flip your card over, because what you do to one side of the card now, we're going to copy on the other. Flipped this way. Okay, then, oh, that went off kilter a little bit. That's great, because my bone folder can fix that. Then you're going to fold this piece backwards. Kind of like an accordion. And we've done this to one side, so we need to now fold the other side backwards as well. At the end, if there's anything that seems off to you, you can easily come in and kind of just reinforce all of those lines. It's not going to make or break your card at this point. Okay, so at this moment, what we've created is half of our fold. We need to make the same folds now on this section of the card. And the easiest way to do that is just copy what you see on the left onto the right. So this piece here is popped out. So we're going to pop that one up. And then go the opposite direction, popping this one out. And I know you can't see that one as much, but before we finish, we'll just hold this up and show everyone what these look like. Okay, done one side. We're going to turn this around and we need to do the opposite. This one's popped up, so its partner needs to be popped up. And going the opposite direction one more time. gives us this funky looking pattern. If you put your ends together, pinch the opposite side, this is what you should see. You should have a giant rectangle in the middle and two ends that are connected to one another. Now don't glue anything yet because we need to do a little bit of cutting first. But this is what you should have in front of you at the moment. I'm going to move this down again and we're going to open this up. Okay, so you will end up having to kind of refold and reburnish those lines again because we need to do some cutting for this window here. I found the easiest way to cut my hole perfectly is to just do the cardstock and the designer series paper all at once. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of designer series paper, something that I want as my front focus, and we're going to attach this to this right hand side. So this piece is going to be 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, and you're going to put adhesive around the perimeter. There's no point putting any in the center because we're cutting that center out, so nothing's going to hold there. We're going to do that center mark or that perimeter. Two. I know it's so hard to put adhesive on the back because this guy is so fun too. You could really make an adorable card out of any parts of this paper. And then if the paper isn't sweet enough, there's also an adorable stamp set called Storybook Friends. And if you grew up with Beatrice Potter, like I did, then this is just very nostalgic for me. So this is a great set to kind of relive some of my childhood moments. All right, we are attaching that piece to the front. There should be a slight boho blue border all the way around it. And then we need to do a little bit of die cutting with our cut and emboss machine. Now, this window can be cut from a multitude of things. So if you have the 2.5 inch circle punch, you can use that. If you have some of our deckled circles, I know those are retired, but many of you still have them. You can use that. The set that I'm going to use, and that's pretty much just the standard in my life, is the Stylish Shapes circles. So I love this set because it comes with circles, squares, and banners all in one. So if you're somebody who's just starting out, it's the set I would suggest starting with because you can get an assortment of shapes all in one bundle. And then you can decide from there if you need more sizes and more versatility with the other sets. So I have both the largest and the second largest of those circles out. I'm going to use the second largest to cut my window, and the largest is actually what I used to cut this scene out. This was cut out from one of the full 12 by 12 papers, and I just kind of chopped around it and cut the scene out of it. That's the largest one, and you'll see why we cut out the circle in a minute. Before I run this through my cut and emboss machine, I'm going to just tape it in place because I don't want this shifting. I don't want a window that's wonky and ends up kind of going down to the bottom. I'm going to use, this is from Amazon. I think you can get it in Canada and the US, just some Post-it tape. We're going to tape this on a couple of the corners right in the middle of our workspace. So I will have a larger border both on the top and the bottom than I do on the sides, but as close to center as you can get is ideal. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my cut and emboss plates and show you how to cut that through. We'll have to move you for a second. There we go. My machine has probably seen better days, but she still works. All right, what you need to cut. This is not going to focus. I apologize. Number 1 plate, that nice fat one. Number 2 plate, this is that little skinny plate that kind of just is an adapter. you need one clear plate, well loved. Then you need your papers, and we're going to put one more clear plate on top. And I know my camera doesn't like when things are tall, so she's not going to like focusing for you at the moment, but we've got our top plate. Our sandwich is complete, and we're going to run this through forward. And then because you're going through cardstock and designer paper, 2 layers, we're going to go through twice. Go backwards as well. Okay. There, see, now it'll focus. When you take this off, you will have a nice open window and a stitched circle. Don't throw this away. You can use it for something later, but just keep it off to the side for now. So we don't need it at the moment. All right, there's our window. That's what we need cut, but we're gonna do some decorating while this is flat on the table. It's just the easiest way to do it. I find it's a lot simpler than trying to build things when your card is all popped up. So we're gonna build these side panels. These are just for decoration. You easily could leave them blue, but why not? We've got great looking designer series paper. So we're gonna cut ourselves 8 strips that are 1/4 inch by 4 inches, and we're going to start adding them to our piece. I cut mine in whatever order I felt like it. If you're very, very concerned about a continuous pattern, then of course you can cut one solid piece of paper into strips and have fun. Just, I would suggest worrying about making sure your strawberries are the right way up, and you can add these in whatever order you want. We're going to frame the front part of our card with 2 on each side. If liquid glue is easier to use, go for it. I just put some adhesive strips on the back of my designer paper before I cut it, so it's quite simple to just chop this up. So basically in all of these little 1/2 inch sections, you're putting a tiny strip. You see how much easier it is to do this? Well, it's laying down in front of you. More to go. 1 and 2. All right, now no matter what kind of card I make, whether it's a pop-up fun fold or whether it's a small card or a regular card, I always like to have something to write on. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of very vanilla for the back of the card. And again, it's easiest to add that right now. So we're going to cut that the same size as our designer series paper on the front here. It's going to be 3 1/4 by 4. And if you'd like to do any stamping on that, of course, we're going to do that first because everything becomes more difficult once you mount it. And if you make a mistake, it's so easy to just turn this over, or at worst, cut yourself a new piece before you get going. So I really thought this stone hedge was adorable, so I grabbed that and mounted it to a block. And then because we're going with the romantic little card, we have the sentiment, "Somebody loves you," for a little finishing touch. Of course, you can add any of the critters. If you really wanted to, you can grab one of these dies, and you could grab a beautiful little frame to add to the back. Anything goes. It's your card. Do whatever you like with this card. Okay, but I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I've got 2 inks here. We have Crumb Cake, and pardon my Crumb Cake, I have no idea why. The ink itself is fine, but my case looks rather green, and I have no idea why, but the ink is fine. Ink that up just by dabbing, and then hold and press for a few seconds. If you feel inclined, you can always come back with an aqua painter and do a little shading or some of our blends markers. It's completely up to you. And then my sentiment, I decided to get a little crazy, and instead of going red, because there wasn't a bright red in this paper, I just went with Moody Mauve because that was kind of the color they used for their strawberries. So Some Bunny Loves You. Nice and simple. We're going to turn this over since I'm happy with it. And just so you know, I am a double-sided tape person. You guys feel free to use whatever medium you want. You can use seal, you can use Tombow liquid glue, whatever works for you. I just find the tape is my best friend, so don't mind me. You can use anything your heart's desire. All right, so this is going now on the left-hand side of the project. Once again, centered. Looking pretty good. Okay, ready to build? Don't worry, it's not that scary. You have done a perfect job laying all of this out, but we're going to turn this over. And we need to add a little adhesive to connect our 2 ends. So you see these 2 ends, they're actually some of our pieces here that are just butted up, and that's what makes that pop-out feature for you. So we're going to put adhesive onto the far right side, just in the one section, 1 strip of tape. And then these 2 middle pieces here need to connect. So it doesn't matter again which one you do, but just put adhesive in one of those 2. And we're going to close our card up together. Okay, so we've got adhesive here in this quadrant, I guess number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this would be 6, 7, and quadrant 8. Okay, I'm going to just do this one at a time. Again, closing the card up now perfectly square. I'm happy with that. And then we're going to take this off. Because your paper is bent, most people are tempted to lift up and try to match. Don't. Just squish your card down onto the table. Match it up perfectly. And then this is where you're going to just get to use a little bit of finger folding. You can bring your bone folder back in if you want to build that shape out. There's your pop-out feature. Okay, now remember that cutout of the bunnies that I mentioned? We made our circle of our little bunnykins slightly larger than the window. So when you add it in behind here, like so, it will be easy to work with. You can either put flat adhesive on here, or I thought it looked really cute. Just popped up on dimensionals. You can see that in here, because then they don't look so far away. So we're going to pop them up on dimensionals. And we're going to tuck them just right behind our circle. And this is where you get to, once again, close your card up so they fall directly into your line of vision. Okay. They're cute. They're so fun. Okay, back to our sketch. Let's just confirm. Okay, do we have a focal circle / oval? Yes. Yes, we do. Now we need this piece here. So that's going to be my fence die cut. Very, very cute. I didn't have to cut this out at all. It came pre-cut in that package of paper. So all I'm going to do is add a tiny bit of glue to the left and the right so that it attaches to my card. If you want to, you can also use some of our adhesive foam strips, and you could pop this up. So maybe I'll show you the difference. This is card number 1, where I've just kind of attached them flat. Card number 2, if I can find scissors, maybe. I don't know, somewhere. Sorry. I'm using contraband scissors. Shh. That's okay. Fiskars is a good friend. Okay. We've got just a little piece. These are skinny enough that they'll fit on the fence rail, and you only need those on the right and the left, because really everything else is going across your middle. You don't want any adhesives there. This is a pop-out card already, so it doesn't matter how many dimensionals we use, right? That's the rule. Alrighty, here we go. Popped up. Kind of in the center there. Good. Last but not least, we need some little focal point here. You could put a sentiment on it if you want. I decided I wanted to use more decals. So I've got a flower here. I'm going to use the strawberries on the other one because I figured that was very fitting. And I would like to put those up on the fence post. So I'm going to put a nice fat dimensional behind them, and that will cover a little crossover in my space there. So one nice dimensional. And the strawberries can just hang off the fence. Looking good. Now, I know this part isn't part of the sketch, but I hope you'll forgive me because I really do want to add a couple other features. I want to add something on the right of my fence, and I thought perhaps for this one we would grab the matching flowers to the strawberries. Kind of overwhelming, so give me your opinions on that, but I think it's still forgivable. It looks really sharp. It's a really fun way to showcase a few extra dies here. There's one. And then I haven't seen your votes yet, of course, for this guy, but I think in my house, I'm going to go with little bunnykins hiding off in the corner, kind of playing while my husband and I are trying to pick a cabbage together. There we go. And last but not least, this is not part of the suite, but it is an adorable little addition to our holiday catalog. I'm going to use a tiny bee trinket. You can see how much I love them because I literally have one bee left. We're going to put some bees on our flowers just to add a little bit of bling. So I'm just going to put them right there, one dot of glue, one little bee. There we go. There. He's cute. He's ready to go. So there you are. I hope you like my version of the card sketch this week. If you do, I would really appreciate a little like, and please go check out Julia and Rhonda's cards because I have no doubt they are going to blow your mind and just give you so much inspiration. We will see you next Thursday for edition 2 of Julia and Friends. See you then. Bye.